Pre-Flight is a weekly thing now.
Seems like it. I hope people are enjoying it.
What's on the schedule for tonight?
Looks like Dead Man Wonderland and a sneak peek goodie.
Well, I hope they're ready. Get ready to cue Earth.
Take it away, William Street.
Hello. You are watching Toonami Pre-Flight. I'm your host, Jason.
And I'm your other host, Gil.
And today we're going to talk about a bunch of different stuff. We're going to catch up on Dead Man Wonderland. We are going to talk about our question of the week. We're going to show this week's goodie. We're going to have another check-in from Steve Bloom. I feel good about it. How do you feel?
I feel good about it as well.
After having done one episode.
Yeah, so 2 down. I think we've got it all figured out now. If you haven't already liked us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Toonami. So that's the main vehicle to go interact with to be able to participate in the question of the week, which will hopefully be a weekly occurrence.
Yeah.
And also to talk about your favorite shows and anything else you'd like to see on the show.
So why don't we kick it off? Let's talk Dead Man
Wonderland.
So Dead Man Wonderland is a show that currently airs at 3 a.m. We originally brought it back on our not April Fools, but the first broadcast when we came back. Dead Man was like one of the 2 new shows. The other was Kesher and Sins. So we got Dead Man. I can't remember. Did Funimation suggest it, or was it Kim Manning, our head of programming? Who suggested it to us?
It was both. It was part of a group of screeners that we saw that were on DVD, which still seems like a somewhat antiquated way of going
DVD
about
screeners.
it. But, and we were watching them at the Coachella shoot, and it really just seemed like
the right
show to be on the new Toonami, because it definitely felt like a show that would clearly not have ever been on Cartoon Network's
a more adult show than we were ever allowed to, in terms of violence and content and the tone of it. And weirdly, a lot of people kind of complained when we first started airing it, like, what is this show? But it really won people over. And it wasn't a big show in Japan. It got canceled after 1 season. The manga went on for several years, but it kind of was one of those shows, kind of like Big O, which in Japan didn't do that well. But here, it kind of, when we rebroadcasted it sort of found a new audience. And since that airing, people have consistently come back to us and said, "Man, Dead Man, we love. When are you going to make a season 2?" Like, by the way,
we don't actually control those.
Yeah, we can't do
choices.
that, but we get it. And so we decided to bring it back.
Yeah, and pretty much universally the reaction by the time the finale was on was that this was a great show. Why don't you show it again? And at that point, we just wanted to be able to move on to more new shows for us. But we definitely, in the back of our mind, we're always looking towards bringing it back, and we're definitely glad that it's on.
Well, so for the people who are watching this who might not have watched Dead Man, we'll just show you our
We might
promo.
spoil it today a little bit, because we're going to talk about episode 10 of 12. But this promo will not spoil it, so you still have time to catch up between now and Saturday night.
Whoa, what the hell?
A classroom full of kids has been murdered. The only survivor, Ganta Igarashi.
The only recourse that we have is capital punishment.
Wrongfully convicted, Ganta's been shipped off to the worst place on Earth. Dead Man Wonderland. 1 part amusement park, 1 part maximum security lockdown.
This is life, boys.
The only way to survive is to fight.
Now you'll see him suffer the slings and arrows.
But Ganta's got a special talent. He's a dead man. His ticket to fame and glory? A brutal blood sport called Carnival Corpse.
The bloodiest, awesomest attraction in the whole park.
Only the very strong, or very insane, make it out in one piece. Can Ganta survive this crazy world? Or is he just more meat for the grinder? Dead Man Wonderland, Saturdays at 3 a.m. Get busy living, or get busy dying. Only Toonami on Adult Swim.
Intense.
Indeed. I think we should start all of our promos with a room full of school children who have been murdered. Even though now our promos aren't really...
We don't have VO as much.
Yeah, we're moving away from the sort of classic Toonami promo to the more modern movie trailer.
Yeah. Just more immersive. I think the younger generation thinks of it as more immersive, like the voice of God trailer has kind of become a thing of the past. It's something we did really well, and something I'm still sad. High five. And I'm still sad that we had to move away from it, but it's just not the way people do promos now.
And I think we had the first four episodes.
We're in the classroom.
It's so scary.
Murder!
We had the first 4 episodes for that promo.
Yeah.
And the show changes a little bit, definitely by the time that we get to where we are.
Well, so let's talk about that. We're about to air episode 10 as of this broadcast right now.
Yes. Tomorrow night or tonight, depending on when you're watching this.
And I will say, for me, I don't know how you feel, but for me, Dead Man is I really like it. It's sort of an over the top. Like, all the bad guys are so over the top. Ganta's such an over the top whiner. And in a lot of ways, it's got a lot of the classic sort of anime tropes, but it's got some wild ideas mixed into it that sort of elevate it, I think, and make it more interesting. Like the idea that you can do anything with your own blood is such a gross but awesome idea.
I didn't think about it really until we started prepping for this show, but how many shows we recently have been airing where your own blood is the key to success and survival. And I don't know if that's
subliminal
or where that's coming from, but yeah, it's that you, as a result of having this affliction, you are becoming the ultimate badass if you can control it.
If you can not bleed to death.
Yeah, and that anemia plays an important role in controlling your blood loss.
And as a lover of extreme violence, there's some really good deaths in this show, I have to say.
Yeah, and it definitely made our lives easier, just darkening the light in all the crazy violent parts. But there's definitely moments where you're like, what's going on?
Why is it so dark? How they tint the screen so that you can't see everything that's going on.
She was holding somebody's head, and it just looks sort of like her hand. But it's I definitely like the show. I think it's cool.
And I think where we are in the story, I mean, it ends on a cliffhanger for sure. I haven't read the manga, but I know the manga wraps up the story. But we're leading up to sort of the big cliffhanger because we're only a couple episodes away. And they never reveal in season 1. They kind of hint, but they never really reveal, I don't think, who she really is. They reveal some stuff. Or no, do they reveal that she's Wretched Egg?
Spoiler alert. Yes. That's sort of like episode 5 is they're putting it together, and it's that they played together as kids, and that she's doing it all as an homage to him, to Ganta, and that she really loves him.
Yeah.
And the only way to show that is by killing everybody and bringing her to him.
Been there, Shiro.
Yeah, so if you haven't tried to kill everybody, you're not really in love.
But, this is probably, it might not be the last time, but it's going to be one of the last times we would show this show, because a couple runs is sort of, really all it needs. And I don't think it will get a second season or anything. There was, I believe, an OVA, and it's a prequel.
Yeah, and it's
at the beginning. What leads Dead Man Wonderland to even happen is, we should probably talked about this at the beginning. Is there's an event which causes Tokyo to sort of a third of Tokyo to be destroyed. So 10 years later, they have this sort of arena, which is they put criminals in, and to raise money to help take care of the city, people bet on things that happen in this arena. They pit prisoners against each other to fight.
But the audience on the top level of the prison, the audience doesn't know
that they're actually
that it's
done.
Actually, because they show in the first episode, they show the people, and they're like, "Oh, the special effects are great. These big swinging axes are cutting people in half."
I would watch that show.
And then there's a sub layer, the G Block, which is the online sinister,
where they
with
fight.
a really cute.
It's a sinister cabal.
Photos.
It's a sinister cabal of rich people that pit these prisoners to fight to the death in an underground fighting ring. But they're not there in person. It's just their online avatars, and they're all super cute, like little kawaii, like bears and stuff. But the voice is always like, "Let's see them fight to the death." It's just, I mean, the show's got a lot of cognitive dissonance, like Shiro being so adorable. They have several bad guys that start out as like sweet girls, sweet schoolgirls, who then reveal giant swords and are horrible, awful monsters.
Hibana, who's the reason why the plan sort of goes awry, is the tiny little girl who then flays.
But so I mean, I think if you haven't seen it, let's show a
probably
clip.
totally ruined it
We
for you
probably
now, but
blew
if
it.
you
but whatever.
catch up, it's your fault. It's been several years.
Here's a scene from the upcoming episode we're airing on Saturday night, episode 10 of Dead Man Wonderland.
How could you? Everything was riding on that chip. Everything. They entrusted me with it. I was their last hope. Last hope? No, that stupid chip was too dangerous for you to be carrying by yourself.
Give me a break! I know what I signed up for! You're not my damn babysitter!
Well, you're too weak to be left on your own. These meanies wanted too much out of you.
Are you completely mental? People lay down their lives to get that thing out of here!
I don't care about that stuff! Like anyone gives a damn about your stupid little plan! Without me, you'd be...
Get out! I'm sick and tired of your crap!
Damn.
I feel like Ganta and Shiro might be talking about two different things about the ship.
Look at
There's
the-
a duality going on.
And look at the bodies that we're
stacking them up.
standing. Toonami stacking up them bodies. Well, so that's just a little recap of Dead Man, but it's got a couple more episodes.
Yeah, so 10 is this daylight savings night,
Yep.
March 7th, and then we've got 2 more after that.
And so let's go on to the next thing, Gil. Why don't you talk about the question of the week?
So our question of the week, as we've now done twice, we're trying to just sort of get a way to let people get into the broadcast. So we asked everybody, what's your favorite anime/cartoon badass? And we're not 100% sure badass is supposed to be hyphenated, but as it is. So we have prepared our favorite badasses,
Yeah.
and then we also have the not entirely mathematically scientific.
We got, I mean, the good
comments have been great, and
Yeah.
we really love that everybody's getting in. The Facebook's working, and people are reposting funny memes and
Yeah.
cool images, and there's a conversation going on amongst fans for their picks.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. We're definitely enjoying reading all of your comments. So do you want to start with your
Sure. Yeah.
badasses?
One thing I noticed about people's comments that I thought was funny was when we'll talk more about this later was that everyone, it was like the obvious choice for everyone. They were like, oh, clearly. I mean,
Yeah.
like everyone
Obviously.
has. Yeah,
Which is
everyone-
also what we did too, and we came up with. We keep saying what's your favorite, and then we come up with several different. So we
Yeah.
appreciate everyone else sticking with the actual
Yeah.
question, despite the fact we cheat every time and don't have ourselves nailed down to just one favorite.
We're making the show. We're allowed to cheat.
Yeah.
So I chose 3, and the first one is not really going to be a surprise to anyone that knows me at all. But my first favorite anime badass is Hiro Yui. Yeah. What? From Gundam Wing, because, and I think we should say why we think they're so badass. There's different ways you can look at the
Criteria
word
for badass.
Yeah, like
This-
someone on Facebook said Hank Hill, and I can actually see that.
Well, Sean, can you bring up that? Do you have the image that I sent you this morning?
We haven't. A Hank Hill
Yeah,
image.
so I think if you see this, you might change your mind on why Hank Hill may be the ultimate badass.
I mean, I think. I mean, I.
And it's not necessarily just his love of propane and propane accessories.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see if we can.
Slight technical curveball.
There we go. Here, let's show the picture of Hank. There we go.
So, I mean, I think that pretty much speaks for itself.
Wow, I don't remember that episode of King of the Hill at all.
Yeah, it's later on. I think it's the 9th season when Hank has just had enough of everybody's shit and he's just ready to go.
All right. Well, that's,
so anyway,
thank you for the detour. So anyway, as I was saying, Hiro Yui, the pilot of Wing Zero in Gundam Wing, and the reason I think Hiro is such a badass is because, to me, when I see a character who doesn't care if they live or die, I find that, like, there's just nothing scarier as going up against someone who literally doesn't. They're willing to throw their life away to make sure you do not win, and that's like
that it's not necessarily that they are skilled, but it's not necessarily their skill set that makes them such a badass. It's that they're willing to.
They're determined and crazy.
They want it more.
Yeah, and
they didn't save anything for the swim back.
And Hiro epitomizes that in this show. Like every Gundam pilot is always shocked by the depth of Hiro's commitment, and
there's always some level of conversation that takes place amongst the other Gundam pilots, and Hiro's already like, why have we already blown ourselves up?
So let's show the clip, and then I'll explain the context of the clip.
Mission accepted.
I remember having to paint out the blood behind his head when we had to first show the show.
In a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that he's eating.
I got some strawberry sauce on myself. But that scene, basically the setup for that scene is that the Earth Sphere Alliance is going to, I think they're going to drop a colony on them. They're holding the Gundam pilots hostage, and they have to basically surrender their Gundams, and they all agree. All the pilots agree. Okay, we're gonna stop fighting, and we're gonna turn ourselves in. And Hiro basically gets a message from the leader of their revolution that just says, "No, you can't let them have your Gundam." And so the second he gets the message, he immediately is like, "Cool, I'm done," and just blows up his Gundam so that the enemy can't have it.
And that it's not really a mission, but he's accepted it before.
And what I like about Gundam Wing in general is that they look at the Gundams as almost it's a whole thing about weapons of war and the morality of whether or not you should use something that's an ultimate weapon, are the Gundams too much power for someone to have?
Cheating?
Right. And is it moral for them to use it? And that's a question that goes throughout the whole show. And Hiro, it's just his clarity.
Clear on his choice.
Yeah. So that's my number one. My number two is an older show called Fist of the North Star, which we did see some people, probably older anime fans like myself, commenting Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. But basically, Fist of the North Star is a post-apocalyptic world with a character named Kenshiro who wanders the wastes, basically getting into trouble. People mess with him. He hurts them very badly. It's an incredibly violent show. People always ask, could we show it on Toonami? It's probably too old, and frankly, even now it's probably too violent, but maybe not. But back in the day when I was young, I would rent these VHS cassettes of this show, and it was riveting to me. Like I love post-apocalyptic stuff.
How many obsolescent terms you just used in that sentence? Rent VHS cassettes.
Totally.
But, one of the Facebook comments for them saying Kenshiro was that all of his enemies are already dead. That's
totally.
The criteria.
Kenshiro does not stop. So here's an amazing, hilarious clip of Kenshiro hurting someone that we found on YouTube that I think kind of just says it all.
ここまでだ。計画という飛行をついた。お前の体はもう自分の意志では動けない。助けて。大事な鉄の棺桶の中で死ね。
I pressed the hidden PowerPoint, and now you're going to die
Now
at the
I'm-
end of this broadcast.
Well, there's no motivation to do a good job now, so might as well just leave.
But yeah, Kenshiro, as you can see, is man enough to beat the shit out of a tank, and then
And
simply
that guy is totally powerless to do anything about it. There's no way that he could just
run him over.
over.
And then he just touches his head, and then not only blows him up, but the entire tank explodes. That's what it means to be the Fist of the North Star.
Pretty badass.
So Kenshiro, and then my third choice, and I'm sorry to say, this is not one that even, I don't think there was even maybe one comment on our Facebook that agreed with me. I literally didn't see this name.
I did not either. We
So,
may have gotten some in this morning, so if you are the person, we
But it's-
apologize.
but
But you
he's-
should have commented earlier.
he's old school, Golgo 13. And the reason Golgo is, to me, Golgo's an older... What's weird about Golgo is Golgo still hasn't really taken off in the U.S. I mean, it has because there's been a couple shows that have come out here and a couple movies, but in Japan, the Golgo manga has been going for like 40 years, like forever. And there's countless movies and video games. There's live-action movies with Sonny Chiba. There's a ton of just Golgo stuff. But here, he hasn't really taken off. I have always loved Golgo.
Do you blame yourself for not bringing this up
I
sooner
do.
in Toonami's run?
I do. I have always loved Golgo because it's since the movie Golgo 13, The Professional, came over here. Just because the reason he's a badass is because he's just a cold bastard who never cares about anything. He's only doing a job. Anyone he ever meets, any woman he ever talks to, anything he ever has, he's literally, I'm going to do the job. I don't care about anything else. Nothing affects me. I'm going to walk away with everything in flames, which
Is the Jason DeMarco School of Business.
I mean, kind of. So let's take a look at Golgo 13.
In all sincerity, I'd like to thank the Vice President, Senator Preston, Governor Rosen, to all my devoted friends and my beloved family. I want you to join now in welcoming a new president who will assume leadership of all my companies, including Dawson Oil. And I should add, my right-hand man, Robert Dawson. Golgo 13 arrives today.
Yeah, so that was actually a guy cut a trailer that was sort of a modern trailer for Golgo 13. That was a clip from that, but that's from the movie The Professional, the movie I saw, which is basically a series of Golgo murdering people in quiet ways.
At the Catalina wine mixer that Robert clearly should not have attended.
So I think my choices clearly reflect my age because I've picked some older stuff, but those are my favorite anime cartoon badasses. Let's move on to your choices.
Okay, so I never really thought about my definition of a badass even really until looking back at my two choices. But my first choice is Spike from Cowboy Bebop, and I don't think you really need to explain why, because it's pretty much a badass. But what I like about particularly this clip, because this contains my favorite Spike badass moment that we're going to show, is that it's overcoming insurmountable odds to show up and kill everybody. That I appreciate the dedication to service, and that it's not necessarily that it was a better plan or that he had better equipment. It's just he is better than you.
Right.
And you are going to die because of that.
Let's check that out.
So yeah, let's.
べてはもう終わったと耳を塞いだままで君が言う言葉はただ流れてく安らぐことのない明日へ変わらぬものなどありはしないさとたとえ命尽きてもこの愛を消せはしないそれはI got a rainbow in your hands.
Where's Vicious?
On the top floor. This way.
Shin! Vicious. He's got to be stopped. I was waiting for you to come back and take over.
Pretty badass.
Yeah, that'll do it.
That I don't know what about it, but him reloading in the elevator and especially coming out and he's
Looking
aiming
both directions.
where it's just the who's next aspect of it, and the fact that he keeps planting tiny little explosives and seems to have a great deal of joy of blowing up everybody who's chasing him.
Spike is pretty badass.
Pretty badass, and I think that that's a pretty badass clip. So my second one is a similar character, and it is Revy from Black Lagoon. Revy Two Hands, which seems like a weird.
Well, it's because she always uses.
But
two
I mean,
guns.
it seems like you would come up with a better nickname.
Two
than
hands.
2 hands. It's like 2 guns seems like a better nickname.
2 guns, Revy.
Yeah, but anyway, be that as it may. Also a badass, and I think for the similar ways of the sort of anti-hero badass. Does not care, ready to rock at any moment. Clearly not the same type of character in that she has, but the damaged sort of former badass down on their luck, but still has.
But Revy's also
still got it to go.
Revy's also basically kind of has a death wish. She just is like throwing herself.
It's the Lieutenant Spears of the anime world that she's already dead in her mind and is willing to
do whatever.
Just go through the motions.
Yeah, she kind of hates herself in a way that Spike maybe doesn't as much, but it's a similar thread.
A ratty old torpedo boat. 6 vessels in pursuit. If it is Luak, he's brought everything he's got.
Damn, all these stupid bastards.
King got you involved in this, didn't he, Luak? God must pity you for your stupidity.
Once we get a pint of lead in you, maybe it'll put an end to all that pillow talk of yours.
The enemy's got us on both sides, but in these positions, I think they're...
I see that rock. I suggest you get inside.
Nice job!
If you're gonna flank the enemy, it's common sense to stagger your positions to avoid friendly fire. Amateurs.
Bastard! Don't get too confident. I'll send you straight to hell!
Still 4 vessels remaining. Dutch.
They're coming. Ready? It's your turn. Give him a taste of 2 hands.
Leave it to me.
Listen, why don't you take a break from all the casual conversation about your world? Because right now, I need to focus on this world.
Ready, boy. We've got 2 closing portside and another 2 starboard astern. Is that about right?
And one more. Directly behind us.
Do that one last, Remy.
All right, I'll start with the shit on the left. Let's dance the jitterbug, baby!
She's on the next boat! Do something about that bitch! Damn, I can't see with all the smoke! Sure you don't... Damn it! Kill that bitch! Finish her
So, Rock, which boat is she on?
She's working on her 5th now. Hold on. Looks like the 3rd is still alive. There she is right there! Shoot her! Kill Damn it! My fleet! She took out all my boats!
You just hit a dead end. It seems like you were the one destined to dance the cha-cha with some hot lead, Luwak.
How dare you! That bitch isn't even human! Kid can kiss my ass! I'm not dealing with these demons anymore!
She defeated them all single-handedly. Incredible.
So yeah, that was pretty badass.
Pretty badass. I like the cassette recorder Iron Eagle style of preparing to kick
Iron
ass.
Eagle. So now that's a dated reference right there. So why don't we talk about? So everybody was kind enough to comment on our Facebook. We got tons and tons of great.
Yeah, so we've been posting
answers.
on the Toonami Facebook, which is facebook.com/Toonami, and also on the Adult Swim Facebook.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to migrate more people over to the Toonami Facebook as we go along. So like us there and check it out. And so we have a top 3 fan favorite badasses.
And there they are. And I am not surprised by. I'm only surprised by Alucard.
So Goku was pretty much cleared number 1. Spike seemed to be number 2, and then number 3 was kind of a tie between Vegeta and Alucard. And again, this is not entirely scientific in its interpretation, but that this is felt like going through what it was. We got a couple Revies, we got some Vash the Stampede, we got a couple Hero Yuis.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
Kinshiro, like I was saying before, there were a couple of Toms, which I like. Almost feels a little like pandering, but if that's the way you feel, then that
sounds badass. It's all right.
The Naruto, one person said no one from Naruto, which that just feels like you have an axe to grind for some reason. And then one person posted a picture of Tien, and it said, beats Goku in World Martial Arts Championship, holds off Cell and Boo by self, underrated as fudge, except they didn't actually say fudge, but this is a family show.
So again, that gets into what you think a badass is, because some people seem to think a badass is knowing you can't win and reaching beyond yourself to try to do something, even though you might be a weaker character, but you have this inner strength to do something extraordinary in a key moment.
Yeah, that you're the utility infielder who needs to just hang on until the real badass can show up.
Arguably, Piccolo is that character. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is full of tons of great characters like that.
Right.
So yeah, thank you for
it was kind of a 9,000 way tie for 4th place, but we definitely appreciate everybody coming in. And next week's question of the week, do we want to tease that?
Yeah, we'll tease next week's question of the week is what's your favorite video game, which I haven't figured out yet, so I'm going to.
We're probably going to have 16 choices, but if you can post your favorite one at facebook.com/Toonami, we would appreciate it, because we definitely like seeing what people's opinions are. And
we'll talk
see
about
if everybody agrees with us.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to agree with us. So let's talk about the next segment, which is our sneak peek. We are going to show you guys the goodie that is going to run on this Saturday's Toonami. So I'll set this up a little bit first. So what we're showing is a music video, and it's not a music video we made, but it's one from a band named Royal Blood. And the reason we're showing it is because we like to, we've been showing music videos on Toonami.
Yeah, do you want to talk about that now? Like the history of...
Sure. We've made music videos on Toonami for years since we started. And in the last, since we started back at Adult Swim, we are trying to always have something new every week for you guys, like one new thing every week in Toonami. So, sometimes we just can't make something. So especially when we have movies and we have multiple sort of time slots to be able to fill, I started looking for interesting animated music videos because you never see that on TV anymore, and I thought it would just be a nice, interesting thing for us. And we also make some. Like we made, my friend Adam Fuchs made a Flying Lotus video called Zodiac Shit, so it just became a place to show these animated videos, and it's been well received, and now we're starting to get bands coming to us saying, hey, do you want to show this video? We like what happened when we showed the Panda Bear video, or when we premiered the Boards of Canada tease. Bands are now coming to us, and Toonami's always had a strong musical identity, and for us, showing these videos is just a cool way to break up the air.
And you still get people asking about the original Toonami Night of Music videos.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, for younger Toonami fans, once upon a time, we did a 1-hour Midnight Run special where we showed nothing but animated music videos, and that was sparked by Daft Punk coming and telling us, hey, we have, that was Interstellar 555.
That's right, Daft Punk came to us.
And Daft Punk was premiering, they had cut up the movie that they made into little videos, and they had premiered one more time, but they hadn't premiered some of the others, and they came to us and said, would you guys be willing to air like three of them? And we said, of course. They made a message for us. We also ran the White Stripes video that was all the Legos.
Right.
We ran the Kenna video, Hellbent, that was all stop motion. And then we ran a couple Gorillaz videos because they also gave us a video to premiere. And honestly, it's one of the things that people keep coming back to us over and over and saying, that was the first time I ever heard Daft Punk. That was the first time I ever heard Gorillaz. Like, when are you going to do that again? And the answer is probably never, because we can't, the ratings just probably wouldn't hold up. And that's why MTV doesn't show videos anymore. But what we can do is show the odd video in between our normal run. So we have this video by this band Royal Blood. They're from England. I think they're from Wessex. I might be wrong. Sorry,
Maybe Sussex.
Yeah, they're some X. So they're a two-piece, and it's basically rock, like garage rock type stuff. So they have a video that Christy Caracas, who makes our show Super Jail, the Adult Swim show, he co-directed with another fella. And we just love it and think it's great, so we're going to show it. So why don't we check this out?
How did it feel?
So Royal Blood out of the block. What'd you think of that?
I liked it a lot. The Christie stuff felt like a Super Jail episode of Rick and Morty to me. I don't necessarily know why, but that's the...
Well, I'm just guessing. I don't want to speak for anybody, but I'm guessing that the budget he had to do the animation for this video was far less than the average Super Jail. So I think it's because of the way they had to animate it with slightly less detail, but it's still Christie's style.
Yeah.
So that's why it feels like Rick and Morty a little bit. I can see what you're saying. But I like that jam.
But yeah, it's a good song.
And I like supporting...
like the live-action animation
yeah.
editing back and forth, and the fact that it's basically just give me back my candy bar.
But yeah, if you guys like us showing music videos and you want to suggest animated videos to us that we can eventually air, please do so. Go to facebook.com/Toonami and just let us know, or you can go to toonami.tumblr.com to our Tumblr and let us know, or we have a Gmail address,
which is toonami.preflight@gmail.com.
We'll put a graphic up eventually for that, but for now, if you want to tell us about some animated videos, we'd love to show more. But now, we're going to hear from Steve Bloom with his segment that we are calling
Bloom Room.
Bloom Room. So Steve, who last week gave us an amazing little sort of look into what he's doing, this week gave us another pretty hilarious video. You're going to learn a little.
So last week was a little bit more, I guess, recreational, and this is a little bit more business Steve.
Yeah, this is like what Steve really does with his days. So those of you who are interested in learning about the life of Steve Bloom, the voice of Tom,
and who wouldn't be?
Yeah, let's see this week's Bloom Room segment.
Yo, Steve Bloom here for the Bloom Room. Welcome back. So I thought I'd take you guys on a little journey of what my day is normally like. This is pretty much most of it. Driving around. It takes me probably about 4 hours of driving to handle my normal sessions on a regular day. I've spent about 2 hours already, and it's only about 1:16 in the afternoon, and I've only done one session. So, very, very glamorous. On to the next thing. Well, hello again, Toonami faithful. It's your old buddy Steve Bloom back in my home studio. I thought I was going somewhere else today, but it canceled. Such is the life of a voice actor. Tomorrow I'm going to be going to another famous studio in Los Angeles, and I'll take you with me. So I'm going to do some little segments this time, and we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Be right back. This morning I finished off recording 16 auditions that came in last night, and then recorded all of the Toonami stuff that you're going to be hearing this Saturday, and now I'm on my way to another session. So I just finished recording a guest starring role on a show at a studio that rhymes with Nickelodeon. I'm going to let you guess what that is. Once I got there, it occurred to me I probably shouldn't show footage from that studio while I'm broadcasting for this one. So in the meantime, here's pictures of who I saw today. Good morning. This is how I wake up every day, with this in my face. You may have seen this before in one of the Star Wars movies. This is an Ewok. Her singing voice isn't quite as good as her tongue work, though. There are two other characters in this little play. This one here, who's the most feral of the beasts. And this one here, ferocious, terrifying, would rip your heart out. If love could do that. I'm up. Yes, it's the same day. It's a few hours later. That's why I'm in the same shirt I slept in. I can do that because I have a home studio, and nobody cares. You don't even know if I'm wearing pants right now, actually. You don't want to even think about that. Anyway, the reason that this week's Bloom Room is sort of all over the place is because that's how my life is. I never know what I'm doing day to day. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing moment to moment. Besides my own internal confusion, it's sort of how the business works. Things change all the time. I thought this was a good opportunity to give you guys a little bit of insight into how those changes occur. In this case, this is a little piece that I recorded yesterday. It's a game review for Toonami. There was a very small change in this, actually, 2 little changes. And we call it a pickup session because we're literally picking up just those little pieces of what I recorded before. Sometimes I don't really know how they're going to play this out later on. I don't know what the animation's going to look like. I don't know what pieces of the video game they're going to use. So Something as simple as emphasizing one word can actually change the whole context of the piece. So I don't argue. I just know that they know what they're doing on the other side, and I just redo it according to their instructions. So this is a pickup session. Here we go. Very simple. And we're already rolling. Tell me about it. It's full of rebels, half-breeds, and worse. Yeah, much worse. Lycans. Good thing you never really die. Just a sip of the old black water and... that's better. Yeah, tell me about it. It's full of rebels, half-breeds, and worse. Yeah, much worse. Lycans. Good thing you never really die. Just a sip of the old black water. That's better. That's it. Simple as that.
So that was the always hilarious Steve Bloom.
Driving around in his car, which clearly, if everyone else were as awesome as we were, his life would be a lot better because he never has to leave for our video.
Yeah, that's right. He gets to record our stuff at his house. So yeah, that's this week's Bloom Room. We
a little tease to what next week's goodie will be, and we will be moving Toonami Pre-Flight to Tuesdays if all goes according to plan.
Yeah.
So you'll get a glimpse of that if you want to see the goodie, and if not, then you can be surprised the next.
Watch the actual broadcast. So let's move on to the next thing.
We are also not wearing pants, by the way.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't have told him that.
Maybe we are.
So let's move on to the next thing, which is the fan promo. And we asked you guys to again link us to your favorite Toonami promo or AMV that you've cut. And it didn't have to be for shows that we're currently on, and it didn't have to necessarily use music that we use. And we got a couple that we liked. Do you want to talk about the first one?
Yeah, so the first one is a Criminal Threats, what we always call Criminal Threats.
It's a lineup promo, essentially.
Yeah, we sort of used to play fast and loose with the Criminal Threats soundbite. Sometimes we would use it for lineup promo, sometimes we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Since we've come back on the air, those two things are sort of separate. The Criminal Threats become more music videos for us driving overall tune-in times. Yeah. This spot, typically when we make one, it's a 30. This spot is a 60, but certainly not out of character for us to have done it. This is from Alien Renegade Promos, which is a good title for cutting your Toonami spots.
Alien Renegade Promos, go.
And this is that we had on YouTube and was linked to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Toonami.
So let's show this.
We won't be intimidated by criminal threats.
Every Saturday night at midnight, Adult Swim is building you a better cartoon show. We call it Toonami.
Your soul is mine! I'm about to light up like a goddamn firecracker.
We need to burn this place down.
Guess this will be one hell of a party!
Welcome to harsh reality, children. There are no surprises here.
Wade talked it up. I was expecting something scarier.
Why do we think to bring no guns?
You want to fight so bad? Here I am.
Yeah, it's all about the fighting spirit.
I have no idea where he gets his confidence.
Sorry, honey, but this show isn't for kids.
There you go. So we saw most of it.
Kind of stepped on the end bit.
Stepped on the end.
Little bit cheating, putting the Boondocks in, but it's still funny. And
there's
was the lead in for a while. So
there's some shows
in the vein.
There's some stuff that wasn't on Toonami in there, but that's okay. It's a fan promo. But as far as like the editing of it and the pacing, dropping the music out at the Boondocks quote, why didn't we think to bring no guns, is pretty great and the kind of thing that we would do. So,
and using the Fleischer Superman Criminal Threats bit from the Rocketeers episode.
Is that where Criminal Threats comes from? I mean, I knew it was from Fleischer Superman. I couldn't remember the exact episode.
Yeah, it's the mayor will not be.
Oh yeah, we won't be intimidated. We've been using that since the
jump,
very, very far back. Do you remember who originally? I know it was Cahill, who was our editor back in the day. Was a guy named Mike Cahill, who now runs the Adult Swim bumps department and is in charge of all the bumps.
Sounds like you do remember.
He used to be our main editor for Toonami. Was it him that pulled that clip and used it in the promo, or was it Sean Akins who wanted it, or was it you?
I carried the tapes into the edit room, so it was a group effort.
You get some credit.
My memory of it is that Sean wanted to look at the Supermans because just to see what was there, and then Cahill felt like that bite was pretty great, and we used a lot of them, especially the long throw more switches.
Yeah, we made some early music videos, which are some of my favorite early Toonami stuff.
Yeah,
ever.
We had more time to air stuff and more time to make stuff. People seem to think we always made more things in the past, but we're generating way more content now.
Yeah.
But it's just because of the nature of how the breaks are run and the time that we have and the promos and the network and everything else. They're shorter pieces, 60s, sometimes 90s.
Yeah.
Every now and then it's a 2-minute spot, but those don't get to run that much. So the older pieces are definitely all longer.
Yeah, way longer.
And had just sort of as much time as need be to get them done. Now we tell Johnny and Sarah about 10 minutes beforehand when we need the spot on the air, and they still work it out.
Yeah, and also, and we were working full time on Toonami,
right?
And also, back at that time, Cartoon Network was definitely much more of the Wild West. And if you wanted something to be 2 minutes and 36 seconds,
we programmed everything, and there wasn't a is it okay for this? It was just here's what's going on, and that's why a lot of stuff ran wrong, and we never found out about it because there was no internet, and why we had a lot of flexibility to do some cool things.
Yeah, but credit to Cahill and Sean for using that quote and making it a regular thing, because they were just continuing that tradition. So credit to
as
those
is
guys.
Alien Renegade Promos.
And Alien Renegade Promos, who now continues it for the rest of the fans.
Paying it forward.
So let's talk about the next. I know we did a Kill la Kill promo last week, but
it's a new week and a new episode.
Yeah, and another Kill la Kill topical for this Saturday's episode.
And we don't do Kill la Kill topicals.
No, I'm starting to wonder if
it seems
we
like
should.
we probably should after seeing these, that maybe that's something to look into. So thank you for this week. I'm a Krillin YT for your Kill la Kill topical for episode 5.
Yeah, and let's show it. Let's show that.
Next all-new episode of Kill la Kill.
There are 2 things you need to know. When she wakes up, she'll feel refreshed and energized. But her uniform will get no mercy! 1, I'm not a pervert. 2, I won't let you transform anymore.
Kill la Kill. Saturdays at 12:30.
We're the bad guys division of the Garbage Club!
Only Toonami. On Adult Swim.
Yeah, I mean that.
So still other than that feels like a scratch track
VO track
promo that we would.
I mean, the multiple endings, definitely a Toonami thing, where they did the gardening club, and then an action shot, and then another, and then Adult Swim, and then an act like that is definitely something we do all the time. So, congrats! I'm a Krillin Whitey.
YT.
I know, I just like reading it that way. And I would say I would love to ask fans, I mean, at this point, maybe we should see, can we get a topical for every single week of Kill la Kill while it's on? Can you guys submit Kill la Kill topicals in addition to that?
Dare you.
Yeah, see, I would love to have a Kill la Kill topical for every episode of the run, all fan created, if you guys want to do that.
And please sign the waivers, as always, when you send these in, so when we put them on air, we don't owe you any money or anything else.
But as always, awesome promos, and if you guys want to keep sending us your fan promos, please send them to facebook.com/Toonami. We would like to do this segment every single week if possible, and just constantly show the music videos and promos you guys are making, because we have some amazing fans who are really discovering how to be editors through this kind of stuff.
And linking your YouTube videos to Facebook is definitely the best way for us to do it, so please continue that process.
And then I guess, really, we're pretty much done with the show. There's only one more thing that we wanted to talk about. We want to announce a schedule change. Many of our more eagle-eyed viewers are aware that Dead Man Wonderland's coming to a close soon, and they're asking what's going to replace Dead Man. So, yeah, do it. Attack on Titan. So we still have the rights to Attack on Titan, and though it didn't do so great in the earlier in the night, we think at the time in which Dead Man's playing at 3 a.m., that's a good time slot, and we want to try. And we want to try it again.
We love the show. We want to have it on. People want to see it. Just not enough people to have it be the lead off.
Yeah.
show, but that's not an indication of it not being
right.
good.
And we don't have the money right now to put another new show at 3 a.m. That's just financially not possible because we're trying
Full disclosure.
We're trying to get new shows for the earlier part of the night. We need to spend our money there. So,
and another slight schedule change, like we were saying before, that we're going to move Toonami Pre-Flight to
this show
that you're currently streaming on your internets to Tuesdays with the hope of getting it up Tuesday evening, so that when you're watching it, if you don't have a chance to watch it in the 15 minutes that it's up online before that night's Toonami or the next night's Toonami, that you can come back and check it out and watch it again and then get all the extra jokes because it's layered and it's built that
it's
way.
deep like that. It's layered. You can also call us. We have a voicemail. You can call us and leave us a message. 470-242-NAMI.
470-242-NAMI.
Fine.
And so if you call us right away, there is a chance that this voicemail message
won't
actually be set up because we have to still do that. So if you get this number is no longer in service, it's really that this number is not yet in service.
Just keep trying.
And we will eventually record that. But leave us your messages. Keep them relatively short so we don't just skip them and move on to the next.
Tell us,
but we definitely want to hear from people.
Yeah, tell us what you want to see on Toonami. Tell us what you want to see on Pre-Flight. Tell us
what you don't want to see on Pre-Flight.
Answer the question of the week, and just leave the messages there. We'll be checking those along with our Facebook so that we can come back to you guys and discuss your feedback.
And if you're not already watching us on Toonami.tumblr.com, check that out. That's not going to be the best way to interact with us for this show moving forward, but it's definitely a great place to be.
And it'll be a place where we post our promos and schedule changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so Facebook will basically be around this show. Tumblr will be more around the actual broadcast, I think is probably the easiest way to explain it.
Social media is so confusing, guys.
Our social media strategy is still in the whiteboard phase, and we're going to parking lot it for right now and come back eventually.
But thanks for watching. That's been this week's episode of Pre-Flight. Come back on Tuesday evening, and we'll have a new episode for you.
Hopefully.
Certainly.
Most likely.